who isn't here. So if you guys talk, he's going to tell me. So
I will tell you. In fact, we're live right now. Hi, everybody. I am Blake Cabot. I am the owner of FacePaintcom, and I'm thrilled to have Laura Pennock, who is in Kansas as we speak, while I'm in Connecticut. Anyway, she is going to show us the power of the circle, and she would not tell me anything about what that meant, so I have no idea what she's going to do. But I'm excited about it. She's taught on Faba TV. She did Olga's class, and so this is going to be exciting. So I'm thrilled. Laura, take it away.
Awesome. Okay. Hey, everybody. I am so happy to be here with you today. And oh my goodness. So we need to spend like 2 seconds talking about expectations. I want to know everything that you guys are hoping to get out of this, that Blake will yell at me all through the class. So don't worry about interrupting me. I love giving you more information. I love giving you better information. I have no problem repeating something. If it doesn't quite make sense the first time to somebody, shout that out and we'll totally go over that. My hopes and expectations for this class is that, number one, I really, really, really want you guys to come away feeling like, yes, I can do this. So absolutely, I am going to try and make it seem like you can do it, because you totally can. I believe in you, all right? And then the second thing that I'm hoping happens today is I hope that you feel not just excited and not just empowered, but I want you to feel the special nature of face painting. Face painting is incredible. And during this time that we're not getting to do it as much as we would like, we need to keep that flame burning. We need to keep that flame alive. And by learning something new, we can totally do that. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys the power of the circle. And like Blake said, he has no idea what I'm about to say, which keeps it exciting. But as some of you guys,
fresh. Exactly.
Yeah, so fresh, so exciting. Okay. So I am just sharing with you, we've got some amazing craze paint up here. And then I want to show you guys a circle. So why talk about a circle? Why is it so important? Isn't it just like round here? Like there we go, there's our circle. I want to share with you guys the power of the circle. And what that means is that power exists everywhere, okay? Face painting, as a face painter, as you go out to learn new things and as you go out to try and strengthen your skills, what you're doing is you're becoming a more powerful painter. So if your kids are crazy into Breath of the Wild like mine, you'll understand that they go around and Link goes around and he collects all these different little things. Well, I want you guys to do that with your face painting. I want you to go out and I want you to collect new products to try. I want you to collect new designs to do. I want you to collect all these different things that are going to influence and impact your face painting. And one of those things can be the power of the circle. So the power comes in that this is one of the world's most favorite shapes. It shows up everywhere. Even in painting, we are painting faces, and circles are so important. If you look here, we've got one circle, one circle, one circle, one circle, part of a circle, part of a circle, part of a circle, and a circle. And we can draw a very happy little face with just circles. Circles are everywhere. And they are beautiful because if you look in geometry, and we're going to geek out for just a second, but I promise this is about face painting. When we look at this, there is symmetry everywhere and it's beautiful. So we can find a symmetry line there. We can find one here. The equidistant, is this radius line. And then we've got the diameter and all of this. What it does is when we understand that, we can pull that power into our design work. And that power is going to make our designs look better. It's going to make us more confident going into those designs. And it's going to be more fun because we can understand the rules. When you first start driving, it's terrifying. You're in your car, you're out on the road, and you're like, which one is the stop and which one is the go? Like, it's so intense. And it can feel that way when we're face painting. We don't know the rules of face painting. And in illustration, in drawing, in art, shapes give us the rules. They teach us what works, what doesn't work, what feels good. And the crazy thing that is the kids we're painting on and the parents we're actually painting for as we paint on their kids, they are the ones that get to judge whether or not we were successful. And so it's that mirror moment when the kid smiles that we know, hey, we did it, we made it. And what we can do in order to make sure that we're being successful is to understand shapes and to be able to communicate in a really positive, consistent way. And those rules that come from the shapes are awesome. So what makes the circle so awesome is that it looks right. So that circle looks just fine. But if I came here and I drew that circle and I was like, oh, look at that awesome circle. Or I came and I drew this one, they don't look quite right. And even though somebody can't point it out and be like, oh, that, you know, the center point is not equidistant, they won't tell you that, but they'll feel it. And so we want to create designs that feel right to the people that we're painting for. So let's see how we do that. First thing is, how do you draw a circle? Well, if you take the center point of your circle and you go up and draw a second point, that is all you need to know how to make an amazing circle. So we've gone up, we go down, we go to the side, and the more times you give yourself these little dots, it's going to give you a circle once you go through and you connect the dots. Now, this isn't a dot to dot class, but oh my gosh, it could be, because I love dot to dots. They're so fun. But okay, so let's jump in to face painting. So when we're painting a circle, how do we go about getting us the right circle? And we are only gonna do this for like 3 or 4 minutes. So don't skip it if you're like, oh my gosh, I already know circles, because
I can actually draw a circle.
Yeah, well, there you go. A lot of people, that's one of the things I hear all the time is, I can't even draw a stick figure. I can't even draw a circle. Well, let me show you how. It's really awesome. Our hand is made up of joints. We have joints right here. We have joints right here. We have joints right here. We have a joint right here. And those joints give us almost the same amount of space that they contain. So we can draw a very short line with our little tiny joint. But if we want to create a flowing, beautiful circle, we want to do it with a bigger joint. So our wrist can draw a better circle than our fingers can. If I take my fingers and I try and draw a circle with my fingers, it's pretty messy. Like, I can't control the texture. I can't get in there. But if I use my wrist, or actually I draw most of my circles with my elbow or my shoulder, and that is where I get it, then all of a sudden I can draw a circle of almost any shape, well, not shape, but any size, and I can get thin, crisp, beautiful lines from that joint. So we can go ahead and we can just draw that circle, or we can come out and we can give ourselves the little center point, give ourselves a few little dots coming around like we did before. And then we do the same thing we did before, but we have the confidence to know, I'm just connecting these dots. So we can go halfway and then we can come the other halfway. We want to do whatever makes us feel confident. Now, do I go in and I just start with line work? No, I never do. I never do on any other shape. So why would I with a circle? That's not how I would do it. If you want to, absolutely, there's a couple ways, but let's look at the other ways we can draw the circle. So, of course, black is not my favorite color. I don't know that I have a favorite color, but black isn't it. How's that? So what we can do is we can come in here with a filbert. This is a 5/8 filbert, and I just have some tag green on my brush. And we can start to sketch a circle. So we can, and I'm doing a bad one on purpose, but we can do a circle and we can look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's not quite right. I need to add a little bit more here and a little bit more here. And this is the next way that we can draw a circle. And that is just creating that form. And then we can be like, okay, that's close enough. Then when we go and we do our outlining, it looks perfect because we've given ourselves like all the support you could possibly want. We're not just doing it freehand, and we're not doing it with dots around the outside. We've given ourselves like complete structure around the outside. So that can be a great way to go in to get your circle. Another way that we can do it is giving.
And if you guys have any questions, just please post them in the comments and I will ask Laura.
We can go ahead and we can just get a stencil of a circle. Now, especially here during COVID, we're all trying to be so sanitary. If we don't have a circle stencil that we want to use kid to kid, a piece of cardstock makes an awesome disposable stencil. So I just have a little puncher. I punched myself out a circle, and then you can go in with a sponge or, you know, whatever makes you happy. And we can grab ourselves that perfect base circle. And then we just pull it off and boom, we've got a circle. Now it doesn't get much more perfect than that. Honestly, I love the little bit of a wiggle of a hand-drawn circle. So I would take this one over that one. But if you're looking for something, that is awesome. If you're also somebody that doesn't like to waste, that's me, we can also use the reverse to create really cool opportunities to have the negative space be the circle that we're using. And I'll show you in our design work today why that's so exciting and so fun. Okay, so we have some circles like this. There's one more, of course, this is my favorite. I saved the best for last. And that is using a flat brush. I love, you know, ever since I was little, I always love those opportunities when you get to be the teacher's favorite kid. And so I would try and learn all the big words. And for the sports people in my life, when I was trying to figure out basketball, the word pivot just was so exciting once I knew what that was. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to use, if you want a small circle, use a 1/2 inch. This is a 3/4 inch. It's going to give us a nice big circle. So we just set it really at a 90 degrees angle. And then you're going to have the inside, which will be yellow, doesn't move very much, and the outside moves a whole lot. And then you can do half the circle and then go fill in the other half. But you can see that that beautiful circle is almost as perfect as this one over here. And we get this cool color blending that is just so beautiful. And so this is going to be a really incredible way that we can do a circle. Now, this was not what I would recommend, but if you are doing a crazy long line school carnival or something someday, right, in the future, you can get a circle sponge. And this is just called a dauber. And we use these all the time, the little finger daubers that we use with our stenciling. But this can give you another way to do a perfect circle. So you just grab a bigger one stroke, you know, like a rainbow cake, and just load it up. And then you can just dab it and you'll have that circle. So once you have the ability to paint a circle, then you're ready to start putting circles into designs. And I want to show you how to do some of those today. So like I promised, we were only going to spend a little bit of time in the circles, but now we need to see where they fit on the face. So
everybody's really excited about circles. Anna, Delphine, they said that I never thought there was a whole science about circles. Thanks for showing us. So,
oh yay! Well, there totally is. So now we have to look at where on the face we have room for a circle. But here's the beautiful thing: you don't have to use the whole circle. But here, I'm going to show you one more thing because they're excited. Here's the one other thing that makes them amazing. If you take the time to just print a sheet of circles. All right, so or you can draw them. You can trace cups or quarters or whatever you want. But if you give yourself some circles to play with, then circles make the most beautiful line work. Like I cannot tell you, if you practice your line work with circles, your line work will become something to just ooh and ah about. So as you are practicing your teardrops, give yourself a circle to practice. And you can even do series of these like filling circles. It will teach you so much. If you're coming here and you want to do an amazing swirl, just going around the circle and in, look at the structure and strength of that beautiful swirl that I was able to get because it's a circle. As you look for circles, you'll see them. The sun is a circle. Flowers have circles. Like it's not just the human face.
Actually, Sally Ann Lynch in an earlier webinar, she was showing us how to use a bowl, and she was using a bowl to set up roses. So she was using circles for roses.
Well, there you go. Absolutely. This shape just keeps showing up. Okay, so now where I want to take us is I want to take us to where we are using the circle to design on the face. So I'm going to just show you on a basic face here for a quick second what I'm talking about, but then we'll actually paint a few designs here in the rest of the class. So we have the face right here that can be a circle. And we do this all the time when we're doing little animals or something. We just draw a circle right there. We also have the eyes that are circles. And when you're looking at a design, this is a common thing that we see are these like, think of Target, you know, Target practice or whatever. We've got this circle and a circle. But even more beautiful than that is when we take and we put the side as the point that we're reusing. And look how beautiful these circles are. Isn't that just awesome? So what I want to do now is I want to show you what we can do with that information. Now, normally I don't do this first step, but in order to get it on here for us, we're going to do a little bit of a spoiler and we're going to add this on here. So I'm just going to take a pencil so you guys can see it. And we want a circle that is about the size of our sponges. So here is a focal point here. We've got a focal point here. I want to go ahead and use this inner one. So we see our first circle is the eye right there. Our next circle is created by the orbital of the eye, which is right here. And that is the bone underneath. And you can see it. Like, unless somebody has a lot of extra weight they're carrying around, we are close enough when we're face painting that you can see that orbital. And we use that shape all the time. But what we don't realize is it's a circle. And so we use this part of it right here, but we can also use the part underneath. So we want to be aware of this circle, and I need to go harder so you can see. We've got a circle right there. And then the one I want you guys to be aware of is this one right here. So you can see we're using too many pieces of paper. That's what we're using. We're using this circle point right here to give us those three circles. Here's our outer, our inner, and then our very inner circle. And that is what I just kind of have in my head is as I'm going into this design, I know those lines are there and I know those lines are beautiful. So in my heart, in my soul, I have the power of the circle. So I haven't even started. This is in my head. I haven't even started. And this person, beautiful woman here, wants a design and she doesn't want something too big and she's going to let you go ahead and pick and you're like, boom, I'm going to bust out my power of the circle and we're going to create an amazing design. So in this, we are going to use circle power ×2. We are going to put our major part of our design right here. We're going to use a circle shape and then we can break out in both directions. So you can put a little one stroke rose right there. You can do a moon, you can do really whatever you want, but I have a thing for matching. And so I love to take whatever the little girl got on her face. And I love to do a variation design on the mom because moms and girls, when they go shopping, they very rarely have the same clothes in both mommy and me, but moms love to match their girls and their girls, they grow out of it at like age 6. So you have to capture the moment. So here, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to paint my circle right here. And I'm using a 1/2 inch filbert and this is some tag red. And I'm just getting it there. Now I went a little on the outside and that's fine. But you can see, okay, I've got a circle. Now, does this design look amazing? No, not yet. But it's going to, and we are going to just keep using our knowledge of the circle to help us build that up. So next, I want to go ahead and I want to do blossom. So I'm going to come here and just load up some Craze White. And white does not show very well on the camera, so I will do my best. In fact, I'm going to now, I feel like an art teacher is going to hit me every time I do this, but
no, it's not that kind of group.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to just add a little bit of blue to that white and mix right on top of my one stroke. One strokes are so easy to clean and it gives you so much power using just beautiful colors all together right at once. Okay, but then I don't want to just have a boring flower. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab some of this pretty purpley color to just mute that blue tip a little bit and give us something fun. Okay, so we've got this great color and I already know I have a circle to work with. So I'm going to come right here and here, big surprise, the blossoms that we make, we are doing radial symmetry and we are creating a circle right there. So bonus triple circles right there. But we can just come in and we can add these blossoms and you can do as many as you want. You can do a double push, gives you that really fun shape. You can go around it more than once, really whatever you want. But now we have this awesome, but do you see how it's kind of getting us in a line? We need to remember to keep bending with that circle. So I'm gonna add a couple more blossoms right up here. And then I'm gonna add one more right down here. Okay, so then I'm gonna grab a little filbert. If you don't have a little filbert, you should, because it's kind of, okay. Honestly, I will tell you that every brush is my favorite brush. It's terrible. Every paint is my favorite paint. Whatever I'm currently using at that moment is my favorite because, okay, honestly, here's a huge pro tip. What you feel in your heart is what is going to come out. And so if you can love a paintbrush, if you can love the paint, if you can love the kid, even, it's going to create a better design. And so if you have negative self-talk, we all do, but it's important to be able to quiet that inner voice and infuse it with excitement. Don't go in there and beat yourself up about being negative, because then you're being negative about being negative. And we need to just like, whoo, calm down, everybody. We're gonna love this. So here we go. We're going to fill in any little empty spot we have with these little leaves. And what that does is it tells the circle story. And you see how beautiful that bend is now? Like it's just so pretty and so fun. And we can just get that going all the way up and down. And it's just telling us this circle story. And because it is a circle, it's beautiful. Circles just are beautiful. I mean, even if you look at a diamond ring, the ring itself is beautiful. The diamond is often cut into a circle princess shape, and that's beautiful. We love circles as people. And so knowing that and being able to work with that is awesome. So now we're going for a low Cornell, this brush. This is the 7000 series. I tend to use this for my number 4 for my round work, but then I like the golden handled ones too. So here we go. We're just going to go around that red right there. Give us a nice little ring around that. And then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna split that almost down the middle, except that I want that little black triangle or the little open triangle that then I'm gonna paint black. And then I can just come up here. We do a half circle right up there on top and fill that mostly in. You can fill it all the way in, but I find that I get a better highlight if I leave the black open. And then this is fun to do little stars or little hearts, but of course little dots are just great. So I'm gonna do that. And then the most important thing when you're painting should be the thing that gets the most detail. So this little ladybug gets the most detail. It's gonna be what's on top. And so it doesn't have to follow the circle story. Everything else is gonna be the circle except for the ladybug. So we can put fancy antennas, we can put really basic ones, whatever we want, because the ladybug gets to break the rules. So there we go. And if we had more space here, because she didn't have her hair, I often come in and, you know, give us a little wispy on there or whatever. Okay, so now we get to finish telling our story. Our main character has shown up. I'm just grabbing some crazed white here that we're gonna use for our detail work. So when I finish a design, what I like to do is I like to focus on any area that light will hit or that I wanna give a little love to. So I know that the center of a flower is where insects go to get the pollen. So we wanna give some love there. And then I know that this circle is really important. So I wanna give some love there. So even though this isn't going to be connected, we don't want it to look like she's wearing a monocle, but we can come in here with just a few little teardrops that kind of go in that direction. And then we can come here with a few little dots and trail up in that direction. And then maybe even add a couple teardrops in, and we can even add a little swirl right there that goes down onto the eyelid. That I love white eyeliner, so I usually add that. And then our ladybug is super important, so we can add just a few little highlights to her shell, make her look nice and round. You can see I had a little bit of green on top of my ladybug, and that white is the eraser of face paint. So we can just go on top and add highlight wherever we need to. And then if we end up with a little open space, when you do dots for your flowers, it's better to just do the sparkles so that it doesn't look like, you know, it's snowing in your design. But if you don't have the little dots, then I put little dots everywhere. I love the little white dots. I even threw some over here, you can see. All right, so here is our first design. And as you can imagine, Oh, sorry, Blake, did you say something?
No, I just said nice.
Okay. As you can imagine, this same placement, this same design, you guys can use it to be whatever you want. So if you want to have a little sea turtle right here, and then you want to have a couple of starfish or a couple tropical flowers, that'd be amazing. If you want to have a moon right here with a couple of stars and then the little swirls and bits to fill in, that would be amazing. Like, this really is powerful. That's why we call it the power of the circle, because you can take and mix and match this work and it goes crazy. So, okay, let's move on.
A couple questions. One is, what's the thumb sleeve for?
Okay, so this is, you know what, I can show you.
Just put it in front of the board. It's fine.
Oh, no, I was trying to show you the packaging so you can see. But okay, so this is KT tape. It is a stretchy piece of elastic tape. It's just like a Band-Aid that has some stretch. And what it does is this joint is one of your most important joints in your whole body. This is what makes monkeys different from all the other animals, is the opposable thumb. But when you are painting and doing lots of details for a long time, you are putting pressure on this joint, and you team up on it. Anytime you're holding something, you've got all these fingers pushing against that one little joint. Now, is that a big deal if you're painting now and then? No. But if you're painting for hours and hours and hours, like I did without knowing that this would happen, I destroyed some of the cartilage in my thumb. And so what this does is it squeezes your thumb, it gets the blood flowing more to that joint, and it also makes it so I can't bend it as far. And so it makes it so that my hand doesn't hurt after painting. So if you're dealing with any joint pain, KT tape can help a lot.
Another question came in earlier, and this is obviously a softball question. How come you are such an amazing artist tutor in person?
Oh, thank you. Well, I'll tell you what.
Lala asked that.
Who did?
Lala.
Oh, Lala, thank you. You know, I think the golden rule of like treat people how you want to be treated. But honestly, I think being a middle child makes you amazing. All the middles out there, I love you. I see you. I care about you. When you have big siblings that pick on you and little siblings that look up to you, you have to be amazing or you don't survive growing up. So yeah, that's what I would say. Middle child syndrome. All right. So here we have our next fellow. And what I want to show you here is that for women, we put the circle here all the time, but for guys, they don't always like that. And so I want to show you, if we do the same thing that we just did, and we pull the power of a circle for our design, we can draw a really big circle. Okay, so there we go. We've got that really big circle. Can you guys all see that okay? And again, this is in your head. Don't go draw this on somebody. But then what we want to do is we want to take the piece of cheek art that we're doing, or the half face or whatever we're doing, and we want to put it right here. So it's our circle in a circle. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give ourselves a circle to work with right here. All right. Now, let's have some fun with this design and make it amazing, because we are borrowing the power of the circle to do it. All right, so I'm gonna just load up a little bit of black and white. I love one stroking with black and white, or you can even do one that has gray, and then you get this gray awesomeness. But remember, if you guys don't know this yet, hooray, I get to teach you. When you one stroke, it's awesome. But when you one stroke, being the artist that has the right to choose, you can change things to make it really cool for yourself. So I want this to be a little on the lighter side. Do I need to go buy a lighter one stroke? I don't. I can one stroke right in the middle, and then I shift over just a little and I reload. And now my gray has gotten whiter, my white is still white, and my black has now become a dark gray. So you can adjust the color that you get by just adjusting where your brush is. When you first start, you do that on accident, you hate it, but then you do it right, and then you learn that. Okay, so here we go. We've got our circle here. Let's go ahead and just put our circle in there. That's awesome. Then what we want to do next is we want to give ourselves a second circle. So here we have our second circle. Now this is the base for almost any grazing animal, okay? You can use this base to make a horse, it can be a moose, it can be a cow. What you have to focus on is getting the right ears and the right nose. So the right nose for this is a rhinoceros, by the way. I always forget to tell people what we're painting. All right, so here is the right nose for the rhino. We want that little bump there. And then we want to have this little like pouty lip there. So we've got a pouty lip and a little bump for the nose. We just kind of smooth it out, give him some nice skin. And remember that the mouth ends and then the jaw ends. And we always want to pay attention to the jaw that our little critter gets. So that jaw is going to come all the way back here. And then we come forward for the neck. Every animal has a neck. And then we come straight back. Thick necks are masculine. They just are. So if you do a nice little dainty neck, you're going to get a lady rhino. But we want a man rhinos because this guy, you know, look at how short his hair is cut. He's intense here. So then we want to go ahead and we want to give him some nice little pointy ears for our rhino there. And then we still have the gray load. We're going to come here and we're going to draw the Nike sign, right? Like that. That little Nike sign is going to be the upper lid of his eye. And by giving him that look, it's going to make him so mad. So then we triangle under, and then we just need to fill that in. So if we use the light side, it's going to give him a little light cheek. But what can be fun is if we do really like kind of random little wiggles and stuff, it's going to give him more of a texture that a rhinoceros actually has, is all of those wrinkles. So you can go in and you can add wrinkles wherever you want to with this really fun brush load that we have. Okay. So here is our rhino, except for one problem. This rhino doesn't have a horn. So let's switch brushes. You can do horns with a round brush if you want, but I love my little filbert brush because it lets me kind of cheat because it has a flat side and so fat and thin. And that lets me do the same work as a round brush, only I don't have to work as hard. So I fill in his eye right there. And then I'm going to give him a nice horn right here. And you can see that I want this to look three-dimensional. Do I want it to look three-dimensional enough that I'm going to work really hard? No, I'm not going to work really hard, but I'm going to work a little hard. So what I do for that is this is going to be round. You can see that this is higher than this point. Guess what? It's a circle. Look at that little circle right there. Oh my goodness, I love it. So we want that. Then we're going to pull another one right here. And again, that looks a little wrong because we need a really sturdy base. And so then I just come back and I pull back to get the right shape. Now we've got these two awesome horns. You can make them curvy, you can make them short and stubby, and that's just going to tell a little bit more of the story of your rhino. And so if you want something intense, if you're tired of painting Black Panther, it's all black. Let's start painting the awesome metalled rhinos. That would be so much more fun. I'm gonna have to start talking kids into that. Okay, so here we are. We've got this awesome cheek art, but now we wanna remember that power of the circle. What do we wanna pull in to create the intensity, the excitement, and to use our awesome power? So I'm going to just grab a little 1/2-inch flat brush right here. It's a protege. And this last week, I got to teach a class on the elements, the 4 elements, and we had so much fun. And so I am going to pull a little bit of what we talked about in that class right here. So I've got blue, and I'm going to just come down and add a little bit of water. So in order to do that, I just want to make sure that my one stroking looks a little drippy, but it's kind of going to be more of a splash. So this rhino has just charged through the watering hole because he's chasing somebody and he's super angry. And we can even leave some of that water splashing up around his neck. But do you see how we're going with our circle? All right, now we could do a complete wave up here, which honestly, let's do it. I was planning on doing fire because that's
Adrian had a question. How do I get the consistency of your paint? How does it dry for you to layer colors without mixing or getting muddy?
Oh, awesome. Okay, so here's the thing that we talk about face paint, but really, if we were being literal and if we were being smart, we would call it face paint water because anytime we're painting, we are having this marriage of paint with water. Like you can't do it without the water. And so you want to always, less is more, use less water. And then if it's not enough, then you add a little more. So I'll go through on my next load, I'll do the load with you guys. So here we're gonna come up here, and in order to get this water to look right, I wanna have a drip right there. And then I'm gonna have it be messy a little bit and messy a little bit, and then a drip right there. The reason that water looks so cool is because it has this amazing thing called surface tension, where the molecules love to be together so much that they just come in and they come in and they come in. And so a water, after it drips and it's falling through the air, it creates what? A circle, a sphere, a perfect circle. Okay, then we want to create these little drips. So we're going to just bring little splashes all the way out, and I'm just following my circle lines. And this just creates something that's a little bit more intense. And this intensity, oh my gosh, I'm loving it. This is almost like a rhino on revolt because they didn't choose him for Frozen 2. They picked a water horse, and he's like, it should have been a rhino.
It should have. It should have. I was actually going to say that.
I would have watched that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now I have a really wet brush. Who, Blake, who was it that asked this question about the water?
Adrian.
Adrian. Okay. So Adrian, this is for you. I'm actually going to add a little bit of green to the water because that's going to make it a little more like Africa. So I have like a drippy wet brush. And if I take that water onto here, can you see how it's pooling? Anytime water pools on your cake, that is a signal that you have too much water on your brush. So you just head over to a paper towel, which I've got one right here. And what paper towels do is they suck out the water. And so you just tap it, and now all that water, look, this is paint. This is all just water. And that's been sucked out. Now I can go back to my same cake and my same brush, and I can load, and look, the water's not pooling. It's still, oh, I've almost got the shine for you. There, you can see the water's there, but
right.
It isn't moving anymore. And so then we just load. Now, when you're loading a one stroke, this is not going to paint very far. If you look at the line of the load, it is only halfway up your brush. So what you do at this point, now I've already sucked out the water, but what I do at this point is I come here and I press on my paper towel and I press the ferrule, which is this metal part, into the brush. And you can see it even sucked out a little water. Now it took some paint with it, and that's okay. But once you suck out that extra water, you can come back and you can press harder and go higher on your brush and keep loading and loading and loading. And now look, my cake has no messy, goopy, drippy. It's totally fine. And my brush is loaded past the halfway mark. It's almost 3/4 of the way. And if you can see, there's little like pools of paint that are consistently loaded the right way, and it's ready to paint. And so I can come and I can add a second layer, which this is a little dry because I dried it twice, but I can add a second layer of color into that first one. And I'm gonna go ahead and load it the right way without talking, so it does it the right way for us here.
Thanks, Melissa. She likes that cake.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, Blake will have to tell you what it is, but it came in the awesome little set. And can I just say, I love little sets that let you try a lot of different things before you buy all the big set versions. But okay, so we're just adding in that lighter blue with the green edge. And you can see that that's just kind of knocked back the intensity. This rhino is no longer in the Caribbean. He is now more in.
Adrian says thank you.
Oh yeah, you betcha. Okay, so now we have the pleasure of giving this little guy a personality. And let me show you some of the ways that we can do that. There are different signals that animals give off to show you how they're doing and how they're feeling. And if an animal doesn't give a feeling, like a goldfish, right? I don't know that facial expressions happen on a goldfish. So we can use human expressions. So the first one is an animal expression. Where the ears point is going to show what they're interested in, because an animal can move its ear. If it's pointed forward, it's interested over here. If it's standing straight up, it's alert. So I've got this ear going straight up so that this guy is paying attention. So I'm gonna pull that line up. Then I'm gonna come up around the top and curve back just a little so that you can see we've got the top of the ear. But then I'm gonna just come back and curve around. Now, ears on anybody are attached. They don't just like stick on, they're like glued on, they're growing out of it. So at the bottom of that ear on any animal that doesn't have fur, we can go ahead and we can add a couple little lines to show the fold of the skin that is attaching that ear to the head. All right, then we're gonna come forward and we're gonna bend down and do a bump. Now that little bump is corresponding to this one over here, which is going to give us the front of his face. And that line being pointed down at that harsh degree is going to show that he's angry. Then of course we can come in here and highlight some of those wrinkles, which is awesome, and give it a couple little flicks. Then we're gonna come back down, around, and up. I'm sorry if this is a little fast, but I wanna show you guys more circle power, unless,
No. The great joy of this is going to be they can watch it again on Facebook.
Oh, okay. You can watch it again. Go, Blake. All right. So here we go. Now we've got this second ear. Every animal has two ears. Sometimes you can see it and sometimes you can't. But if you can see it, make sure that you don't forget to see it, or somebody will
that's a number 4 brush or number 2 brush?
This is a number 3. Neither. You guessed wrong. Yep, it's a number 3. And it is the gold handle one. But honestly, between a 2 and a 3, you can use either. I think I have some of both in my kit, and I just pick the gold one when I want to do something little. But okay, so now the pupil is going to tell you more about his personality. I usually go for just a circle pupil because it makes it just a little friendly. Like kids, especially little kids, they like to be scared, but not that scared. And so this keeps it more friendly. But if you wanted to do your highlight as a sharp angle instead of a little dot, I'm going to show you, we're going to end up with a dot, but I wanted you to see, look how intense that looks. But I'll go ahead and I'll add a little dot on at the end. All right, so now we've got that. And then I like to give him just a couple little wrinkles under his eyes so that we see the baggy nature of our rhino. Then we want a square here. Like I said, animals have the 2 same circles, but then the nose and the ears tell us who it is. So we're gonna have one nostril there, and then we're gonna have one nostril here, and we're gonna go ahead and we're going to have this awesome grumpy look. So we have that squarish jaw that's gonna make him masculine and strong. And then we're going to just come up here and come back down and just kind of give him a little bit of a frown right there, which is just awesome. He looks a little hippo-y, which is just what we want. And then we can give him this bottom lip that has a little bit of a purse to it, because they have these awesome little pointed bottom lips. So we can just put that little bottom lip in there. We don't want to make it look like he's kissing, but we do want it to look like a rhino. So then we can just square off that jaw to make it a little more intense there and pull it up, and then back and back. Then we bring this around, and then again, we want this to come out of something. Just like the ear is attached, the horns are attached. And so we can bring these little flick lines up that tell the story of the horn. Every line should be helping us tell our story. So if you have a line and you don't know what it's there for, figure out what it's there for, or you can delete it, because we don't want to have extra lines. It makes our little stories confusing for people. All right, so then we want some flicks on this horn because we have flicks on the other one. And we want there to be a clear separation. And so we can clear that up by just making sure that there's black in between them at the back. So here is our awesome guy here. And then I feel like this is just kind of blank here, and I really want to tell the story that it's round. So right now this looks a little flat to me. So by just adding some of these same wrinkles in a round shape, we're using the power of the circle to show that that is a round and there's space there. Okay.
Now, what I love about this design is the texture that you've added to it. I mean, it's really quite detailed and interesting.
Thank you. Oh, it's so much fun. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our white, because again, white is light. And we wanna make sure that this rhinoceros is not, you know, at night in the dark. We don't want that. So we can add 1 dot or even 2 little dots, and now he's a lot friendlier. So he's mean, but he's not too mean. If you have a little kid in your chair that is evil, and you'll know what I mean, like you saw them pinching other kids in the line before he got into the chair or whatever. And you realize this
They
kid
started, the head started spinning and they started flying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we can give them the kind of animal that they would really love. And we can just add one ring of red around. And oh my gosh, now this guy, he's nice, but he's also really not nice, you know? And I love the power of the what? The circle. Look at that little red circle that is just, oh, so good. Okay, so now with these white dots, we can come in here and we could change this water in so many ways. But I wanna make sure that we get the little splashy bits that are gonna tell it. And then I also wanna bring and drag some teardrops that are just messy teardrops. So we spend so much time making perfect teardrops that we kind of forget that messy ones can be awesome when we want to. We just want to make sure that like success is defined by us. And so here, in order to be successful, I want to have messy teardrops. I don't want perfectly clean ones. And so then we just add those little splashy bits, and that's what says this is water, not feathers. If we did messy teardrops without the splash, then it would turn into feathers. Okay, so we've got that down at the bottom. If this was a girl rhino, which, oh my gosh, put a girl on his date and it would be amazing. You would have a rhino love story. I would love that. Okay, but now we can just come in here and we just add those messy teardrops. You can also grab and wiggle down, and that creates an awesome water look as well. So really, I just like to make a mess. This is the scribbling part of the show, you know, and then just put in the little dots. And this is just creating something really fierce but fun. Mm-hmm. Fierce but fun is such a fun balance to try and capture and look for. And then over here, we've got those little sprays. We want to make sure that they end up with some little dots. And I do this when I'm painting. I know sometimes like I like to pick a place and try and work all the way through the design, but it's just so much fun to work a little here and work a little there, and you create a much more consistent look that way. Because if I start right here and I'm doing line work, by the time I'm up here, my line work might have shifted. I'd like to say that I'm consistent, but I'm not. And so if I'm doing my dots here and then I do some dots up here, it's going to add consistency to the overall design. Now I did those little flicks in blue. I can also do some in white. This is something that I do to my work all the time because I think it's beautiful. I want the story to be a circle, but I don't want to only curve in. So instead of doing a full curve out, I might just do a couple little flicks so that I have the story the way I want it. Okay. So then we grab just a couple more little dots. And then what we do is we can highlight this guy. So anywhere that the light would hit, the top of things, the side of things, we can go ahead and we can add that little bit of white to it. And we can definitely add white onto his horn, which is just gonna brighten it up. If we painted over something, that can be awesome, but we just throw in all of that little white. This is a little boxy to me, so I'm gonna just put a little curve on top of it and kind of round it out.
Like how long would that design take you in real life?
Probably 4 minutes.
Okay.
I think.
There you go, Anna.
It depends on how much I like the kid, Anna. If I like the kid and I'm having a good conversation with the family, I might have them stick around for 6 or 7, but anyway, okay, so you can see that if we just had this little guy, yeah, he's cool. But look at the power of that circle. It's like, boom, like we've painted almost his whole face. And all it was a little circle of blue smushy stuff. Like it isn't like, okay, now you have to add the body and the torso and the arms and a jersey to make this guy awesome. We just need to be able to borrow the power of the circle. Okay.
That is awesome.
So,
just a few things while we're switching. We only have like 9 minutes. I should have warned you. But we have some, next week's webinar is Marcela Bustamante. We're going to do airbrush tattoos. And then after that, we're going to have, next following Monday is going to have unicorns with a Lodi Tournois.
Yay! Go to both of those. That sounds amazing.
And Elaine Go doing line work. She's going to show us all about her line work. She's watching this, of course. So we'll see her in a couple of weeks.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. So we've got this little person here that has come to get their face painted, and it's exciting. And I want to show you that this power doesn't only exist when we're doing cheeks or when we're doing eyes, that you can use the power of the circle on the whole face. So if we look right here, this is the biggest blank area on the human face, and it's amazing. Forehead designs are awesome. But what we need to remember is we need to remember that whenever you're painting something, so we just painted a rhino, we are painting a person is what we're painting. And so we want to take the time to make that person feel like they're important and that they're seen. And that's going to make the design read better as a whole. And so I love to just take the extra 2 seconds to put in a little bit of color on the eyelid. And of course, this person's eyes are open, which makes it really tricky. And I am not the world's best sponger, but I do know a couple of things. So you want to take the time to bounce, don't wipe, and don't ever put your finger in somebody's eye. I'm like flinching just even doing that much, but okay, there we go. All right, so as you put that in, you can see we've got a nice circle here. We've got, you know, the cheeks that are circles and whatever, but I want to show you one of my very favorite things to do, and that is to create part of a circle. So you don't have to have the whole thing in order for there to be power in your circle. So we can choose if we want to do our half circle right here, going this direction, or if we want the half circle coming down in this direction. So either way, you can end up with a beautiful princess design. But I'm gonna show you, I only have time to show you one of them. But know that you can go either direction for your half circle. But so here what we're gonna do is we are going to create our half circle, and this could be a rainbow if you want it to be. We see those rainbow designs all the time because they are so beautiful and amazing. And then I'm gonna just pull the center down with the side of my brush right there. So we know that this circle would continue right there and it would be beautiful, but our design is only gonna let us see that much of it. Now, at this point, we can have so much fun going in so many different directions, but you wanna choose what you're trying to do. So anytime you're painting a face, you're telling a story. And so what is this story? And I want this to be the story of a sunrise. And so I'm gonna take the same colors. This is Fusion that I'm using, I think. Oh no, this is still Tag. Thought it was Fusion for a second. Such bright colors. And I am just doing little triangles. So I'm coming up and down, and then up and down. If you start in the center and you go all the way around and down, it's going to look like a petal. So you want a sharper start, and then you pull sharply back down, and it's going to give you an offset little triangle right here that, you know, honestly, the sun isn't going to have sun and shadow because it's the sun, but it still gives it form and it can look really nice. And so just wanted to clarify that shape right there. Okay, so now we have this beautiful sun and we've got the fun color on the eyes, and then we get to decide what is happening. And so I know so often we see one stroke roses and we see the petal flowers, but there's so much more to floral design and floral painting than just that. So I want to show you a different approach, and just know that you can do whatever you want, that whatever you like. So I'm going to come here and I'm just going to add a mess of pink. I am just shifting my one stroke and I'm just making this blotch of color right there underneath both of those. And then I'm going to get my little filbert because I love it. And I'm going to show you something so much fun. And actually, oh, sad, I'm not going to use my filbert. I'm going to use number 4, Low Cornell. That is the gold handled again. And I'm going to grab, here, I'll show you guys on camera so you can see. I'm going to grab the light and the dark green. So I'm one stroking with a round brush. Did you know that you could do that? You totally can. This just adds in a little variation. So what I'm gonna do, Blake, what happens if we go over 2 minutes so I can finish this?
We can go over 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna come right here and we're going to swirl up right there and capture, what shape is this? It's a circle. We're gonna just capture this bush into the morning right there like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna just grab green, load it up really nice and well, and you can do whatever green color you want. And now we've got our shape. We're going to do teardrops. So we just pull these teardrops down, and this is just the dark green here. And we just pull it. We're just doing little teardrops and bigger ones, and we're pulling it. Okay, we're leaving a little bit of space in between so that we can see the texture. And then while we have this, I'm gonna just add in a few little leaves in our flowers that are blooming underneath our beautiful bush. Okay, but now what I wanna do is I wanna take the existing load that I have on my brush. You can dip the brush in water if you want, if it's getting super dry, but you take that existing paint and then you go to yellow or you go to white and you just reload with that color. And then you come and you add teardrops right on top of the existing ones we already did. So we have the same color family. It's exactly the same. It's just shifted in tone just a little bit. And then we can go back in and add a few more little leaves to the bottom. And then
Patty DeLeon thinks you're very clever.
Oh, thank you, Patty. Okay, so then we come back. I've dipped it in water once more, so I'm gonna reload, but I'm loading on my white again. And I have 2 whites in my kit. I have 1 white for loading color, and then I have 1 white that always stays white because that makes me happy. But then we can come in and we can do that one more time. And this gives us just a lot more depth and dimension by having the same color, but just having it have a little bit more, changing the value of the color, but keeping the color the same. All right, so there we have that. And then you can keep playing with this, you can keep having fun, but I really don't want to use too much of our extra time. So I'm gonna just load up our white. We're gonna go in and finish this design with white. And this is a really fun design if you're practicing your character illustration and your emotion painting. You can add a face to the little sun, which is so cute and fun. Or you can add, you know, details like little dots. I love doing a little row of dots along the edge. I think it's so beautiful. You can make this sun a mandala if you want and add a ton of crazy detail. That would kill you if you were doing it on a little kid. But you can see that both of these are coming right down to the center point. So take the amazing line work class that's coming up, but you can take the time to put in a little cluster of like teardrop line work kind of stuff, and it can just live right here and create this little sunshine sunrise princess right there. And there are so many different varieties of these little clusters. So just pick one that you like, and that's beautiful. And then we can add those extra little dots that we love to be the little baby's breath or whatever up to kind of blend the transition from flower to bush. And then we can come in and we can add the little sparkly stars, shine marks to the sun. Again, you can have so much fun making this as ornate as you want. But I want to show you guys just one quick second on how to finish those little flowers. So we can come in here and there's so many different things you can do. But if we just use our power of the circle to create a little center circle that's wiggly and then a couple little lines around it. So center jagged circle, lines around it. Wiggly jagged center, lines around. You can see like this just ends up flowing on its own. These are all kind of pointed down. If you wanted to point one up, you would do the thicker part of the wiggly circle and then put the other circles around it that way. So you can.
So sort of rose designs.
Rose, it might be a peony. You can really create
But I mean, the way you draw it, I've seen rose designs drawn like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you can even, if you want a different flower, you can come in here and just do blotches, and end up with just kind of the amorphous, this is flowers, you know, and just have it be a textural element. And that's going to, again, everything you do is telling a story. And this will tell the story of the sun, because this isn't as intricate as the design work that you did up there. But then go ahead and make sure that you remember you're painting on a person. And so we want to take the time to put in the eyeliner and put in
glitter,
of course, and a little bit of lip color, which I'm terrible at remembering. But there we go.
There you go.
There you go. So you can see that we've used the power of the circle here to create a round shape here. We have a circle here. We have a circle here, and those round elements are really going to have this kid walking away feeling like, I am beautiful. And it's because circles are beautiful. So the more circles we can hide in our designs, the more powerful the designs are going to be.
That is fantastic. There's universal praise for your energy and your teaching.
Yay!
Lala said, thank you for your art. It is motivational and your attitude is contagious. I keep creating and sharing. Thank you, FacePaint.com, for this webinar. So thank you guys for all coming. This is great. Laura, can we talk you into coming back?
I would love to come back sometime.
January. I think January. I'll send you the details. Sadly, we got it all booked up until then. But otherwise, we'd have you back sooner. Anyway, thank you very much. It was terrific meeting you. And this was a great class. And now I know what the power of the circle is. So this
yes,
is...
you do.
Yes,
and
I do.
If anybody on your site ever has questions once they see this and it's not the live version anymore, I am not very hard to find online. So feel free to share your triumphs or your struggles with the power of the circle with me. I would love that.
Absolutely. So thank you, everybody. Go to FacePaint.com to buy your face paint. We've got a special that someone asked me whether we could do a coupon code. So I just created one. It's 25% off Craze for the next week. And it's called Craze 25 Off. So thank you very much. And I'll see you guys next Monday with Marcella Bustamante, and have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.